The most popular episode of this series is a video I did called How Bosses Demoralize Employees. It has tens of thousands of views, and every day I get 1 to 3 new comments on that video, despite it being over a year old. Recently, a viewer replied to that video with this comment. What is it about today's philosophy, the one that says that managers are obligated to keep their employees happy? What happened to the philosophy of my grandparents, that employees somewhat owe their employers because they are getting paid? Whatever happened to an honest day's work for a full day's pay? No wonder we have a snowflake generation. Well, let me say this. I absolutely love your Austin Powers avatar. This comment reflects some pretty common misconceptions that, quite frankly, I understand. I wanted to take this comment and unpack it a bit further. That's why, in this episode of Your Practice Ain't Perfect, I answer the question, shouldn't employees just shut up and work? Play that funky theme music. There are actually 2 things happening in this comment that are quite common among some leaders. The first is that our viewer has translated messages about how important it is to care about employee happiness to mean that bosses are obligated to keep employees happy. And that isn't true at all. When I and others talk about attending to employee engagement or morale, we aren't saying let employees do whatever they want, whenever they want, because they have to be happy. We're saying that there is a cause and effect relationship. If you want employees to care about their work, then you have to care about them. If you want employees to support the customer and the company with everything they've got, then you have to support them with everything you've got. Because when employees don't feel cared about or supported, they leave, costs soar, productivity suffers, quality decreases, revenue declines, and customers also suffer. That doesn't mean you don't hold them accountable or set rules and expectations or enforce policies. Of course you have to do all of that to make any workplace work. In fact, the best bosses in the world are often those who hold fast to their high expectations and standards. They are described by their employees as firm but fair, tough but caring. One employee recently told me about her boss. I didn't always agree with her, but I respected the hell out of her because I knew she respected me. So no, bosses aren't obligated to keep employees happy, but they are obligated to do what's best for the company, and that often means doing what's best for the people who work there. Don't confuse the two. The second idea that lives in this comment, that is commonly voiced by some leaders, is this statement. What happened to the philosophy of my grandparents that employees somewhat owe their employers because they are getting paid? Answer? Well, there are some things we used to use back in the day, like asbestos and lobotomies, that have gone away because we figured out that they do a lot of harm. This kind of thinking, that employees should just be thankful they have a job, is one of those. It's antiquated, and bosses with that mindset can destroy a company because it treats people like a commodity. Look, I'm not saying that employees shouldn't feel an obligation to earn their pay. Of course they should. That's at the foundation of having a decent work ethic. And if you have an employee who doesn't have that, they shouldn't stick around long. But believing that employees should just put their heads down, question nothing, endure any and all conditions, and be thankful they have a job is outdated command and control thinking that decades of research tells us is damaging. Treating people like a commodity instead of like people doesn't work. They end up going through the motions, doing the minimum, taking no responsibility for quality, and even sabotaging your success. Here again, you get out of your employees what you put in. When bosses are approachable, collaborative, and appreciative, employees care and try and stay. I want to thank this commenter for having the courage to voice a dissenting opinion, and thank everyone else who watches, comments on, and shares these videos. Thank you, and please keep it up. If you want to learn more about creating the conditions at work that lead employees to thrive, then head over to Amazon and order a copy of my book, Cure for the Common Leader. Thanks for watching. See you next time.